I met a gypsy.
And so how would you explain the difference between the GPs and the AMA at that time?
Well, yeah, one of the big ones was obviously the length of races. That's the first thing you got to contend with. The
extra 10 minutes,
the 40-minute motos plus 2 laps, and
yeah.
and obviously you have to, for the full you have to do a full 40 minutes before you do the 2 laps. So if it's 39 minutes and 59 seconds when you go past the tower, you got to go around again, and then so some of those races can sort of get close to 50 minutes, so they're long races, so that's and I guess that's probably why, to an extent, okay, the Europeans didn't have Supercross, so that obviously kind of didn't influence the way that they rode, as like the Americans, and the tracks were a bit different, and then also the longer races. So if you looked at the European riders back then, they were kind of much more conservative on the bike. They conserved their energy, what I mean, because of the longer races, so they had a more conservative looking style, but they were fast,
efficient,
they were efficient, and it's like anything, you roll into someone's backyard where they know the lay of the land and they've been there before and they know the way around. They're always going to be hard to beat, and you get a lot of different tracks, Holland sand, and then you've got all sorts of different terrains you got to deal with in Europe, on the tracks. But when I was there, it was a good scene because you obviously had, I think, about 12 Grand Prix in a season, and always pretty good tracks, mega tracks. And then you did a lot to fill in the time in between. You did a lot of what they called international races, where I guess clubs or promoters would run these events, and you'd get start money. They'd pay you money to go to that race. And you had a guarantee to just appear and put on a show for those people. So you'd do 20 or so of those races, in addition to your Grand Prix. So, but yeah, still the level was pretty high. History proves, guys like Dave Thorpe or Gabors, even at times when the Americans went to Europe, they perform well, right? They're great riders, so yeah.
What was so I looked this morning on the actually motocross Wikipedia, just like motocross GP championship or whatever. So I looked on the Wikipedia page for the there you go. Look at the riders from Belgium. So go down all the way. Keep going down. Sorry, down. Just when you said you moved into Belgium and went out of the so keep going. So, World Championship by nationality.
Yep.
Belgium total 52 world champions have come from Belgium. So now go down a little bit more, even rounds. Look at the top. So you've got the World Championship by rider. Stefan Everts 10, Belgium. Tony Caroli 9, Italy. Joel Robert 6, Belgium. Roger Da Costa 5, Belgium. Joel Smets 5, Belgium. George
Jobay.
George Jobay 5, Belgium. Erica Burrs 5, Belgium. And then you go in that top list. Then Harry Everts 4, Belgium. So dude, what a country for motocross. And I don't you kind of know Belgium, if you're just a fan, but to see it in that statistical format of just how dominant and how important Belgium was for motocross. So I can imagine that moving to Belgium and being a part of that is a pretty crazy experience just in itself.
Oh, yeah, it's probably, being a kid in Perth, it's something that we acknowledged then that Belgium was kind of the home of motocross, and it's where Joel Robert came from, or Roger Da Costa, and so it was just something you dreamed of, that, and then obviously later in life to actually finally get to that place and then absorb it all, the scene, the environment, and it's pretty special, and those results are pretty amazing, aren't they? Really, like if you look how dominant Belgium has been over time, it's produced some incredible riders. That's for sure.
Do you remember your first ever moto at Lommel?
Hey, first one, not really sure, but
like even practicing
but
there.
Honestly, I do remember some days there. I remember one year I'd been back in Perth over the Christmas holidays, where it's like it's 40 degrees and hot and dry, and then they wanted me to get back to Europe fairly early. It might have been late January maybe, or mid-January.
That would have been torture.
Start testing at Lommel, and it's actually sleeting, like ice coming out of the sky, and they're like, what does the bike feel like? I can't feel it.
They're like, I don't know, man.
I can't feel it. So yeah, brutal. And they're the things, the conditions. You come from a warm, sunny, beautiful place, and to do your job, you got to go around Lommel, I guess, and get your headspace right and get into it. Do some work.
Was it the same brutal kind of place that it is these days? Because I watch like Jed Beaton's Instagram's like the best. He rides Lommel constantly, and he's always pumping out these sick videos from Lommel. And I messaged him and I was like, dude, you just make it look so easy. And he's like, this is not easy, dude. Like, I don't know if it looks easy, but it ain't easy, man. I'm struggling. But like he's gotten so much better there in his time because of the amount of like laps that he's done. But it's just got this like brutal like mystique around that place.
It is brutal. It's hard to find enjoyment.
Really?
Going around Lommel. Yeah, it's brutal. It's always been brutal. Yeah, and it shows, right? I think, was it the year they had the Motocross of Nations there? Yeah. Is that right? Yeah. So, it shows. It's a tough track, and but I guess that's some of the culture that's come through from the riders from Belgium. They're always, well conditioned, tough. There's kind of this. I guess the bar's raised pretty high there, right, from the get-go. So all the riders, up and coming, they've always had, from their own country, the riders that have set the standard for their.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.